It's
So
interesting because I think if you're in a city, which I think like 80% of the US lives in like a major urban area, you probably are only seeing a few of the things that we're talking about in this conversation between like the scaffolding, some porta potties on construction sites, whatever. But one of the things that like totally opened up my eyes was like as we kind of drive through our Texas here, especially in like the Dallas market, whatever, you'll start driving through areas where it's almost all farmland and like 500,000 square foot buildings, basically, like just the biggest buildings you've ever seen in your entire life. And you're like, what the fuck are those? And then you look on like the side and you're like, oh, there's 200 Amazon trucks. You look on the other side of this, like, oh, there's like 40 18 wheelers just waiting to go and load up on these back bays. So once you start seeing like, okay, we see Amazon, we see the package that arrives on our door, but what happened like everything in between, there's so much opportunity.
I mean, even if you look there, right, in those same areas, the first time I've ever seen truck washes, like I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But you drive through some of these cities that are just essentially, massive infrastructure to ship things out. There's trucks everywhere. And truck washes, truck mini, like not really truck stops, but like areas on the side where you can pay to stay. Like there's also a huge industry just around how do you deal with the logistics and the service providers working with um like you have truck stops with hairdressers and like tiny villages that pop up from there.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's funny you guys bring up Texas because I was living in Texas for the first month of the year out in West Texas, San Angelo, and I had to drive through Midland, Odessa area, which I know you guys
Oh,
have a self-storage
crazy.
facility in, and that was the first time I saw like all the oil and like pumping services, like oil cleaning services, like it was nuts, and I like almost got in a couple car accidents because I'm sitting here like trying to look at all the different businesses. I'm like, yo, I've never seen any of this stuff out here in California. I didn't even know it existed, but it's like a whole like that Midland, Odessa area is just straight oil services.
It's pretty interesting. You land in the airport and it's called the spaceport in Midland. It's like the airport and spaceport, which I still haven't figured out why. All the billboards are like, oh, get your recycled fracking water, get your tubing. We have the best, I don't know, tubing in the industry. We had to get the facility power washed and we didn't have water on site. And we showed up and there's a bunch of different water trucks and we're chatting about it. We're like, how like what does this look like to get all this water? It's like, oh, there's so much water that's used in fracking that there's a ton of tiny businesses that all they do are drive around with water trucks and fill up either the fracking site or anything with water. And all they're doing is driving around water trucks all day selling water. Apparently
Yeah,
in
I
the
believe
world.
it. I just talked to a guy who lives out there too, but he lives in, I think, like Arizona, and he flies out once a month to Midland, Odessa, and he'll clean like it's just one guy, and he just cleans like the fasteners or like bearings or some like weird, just like one singular product that these oil service companies use, and he
Yep.
has to clean them or else it doesn't work. The company's probably doing that at scale.
But the crazy part is that, especially with all of the money that's over there in oil, there's an outrageous amount of contractors who will go there, make six figures or whatever like that in 6 months, and then bounce. As a perfect example is our painter. The guy's pretty much redoing the whole facility for us right now. I talked to him. He's like, yeah, when COVID happened and like oil basically went bust, everyone left this town. So he's like, I just backpacked around like South America for like 6 months. Now I'm back. I'm gonna make $100,000. Then I'm gonna go over to Bali for a couple months. And I was like, wow, people are just coming in here, making the money, and then leaving.
Yeah, I believe it, dude. I believe it. It seems like there's tons of opportunity there.